Hi, moms around the world. This is Jayde Skye, and you're listening to the very first Mommy Rules the World podcast. On this episode, you're going to meet some of the people behind the scenes from our community group and hear some never before told stories. We're also going to be discussing some parenting topics, tips to improve your life balance, anonymous posts, and life advice. We'll be discussing some popular posts and topics from our community, such as the infamous crab cakes and even crazier stories we've never posted. Make sure you tune in weekly and you're following our social media pages at Mommy Rules the World to keep updated on all events, contests, and promotions. Did you know our community has representation with members from around the world? When I first founded Mommy Rules the World in 2017, I had a goal of creating an inclusive and judgment-free community. I'm very proud of what we've built, and I'm excited to launch this podcast to share even more with all of you. Joining us on this episode are a few of our community moderator team members, Heather and Michelle. Since tonight is our launch, it's just going to be the three of us, but as we go on to future episodes, I'll be bringing in other members of our team and members as co-hosts. If you're interested in becoming a co-host, you can still apply on our website, mommyrulestheworld.com/podcast co-host application. Applications are open to all Rules the World members, not just our team members. Speaking of our team members, I mentioned that I have Heather and Michelle here with me. Heather is a mom of two biological children. She has a daughter and a son and lives in Florida. She's been a member of our team for 3 years, but she's also been a member of our community for 5 years. I'd like to welcome Heather.
Hi, Jade, and hi, Mommy Rules the World. I am very excited to be here today with everybody. Like Jade said, this is our very first podcast, so we're very excited. And yes, I am a mom of two. My daughter is 16 and my son is 14. And really just very thankful for this group and that we all have a place to go that is very judgment free, and we are able to get very successful and very knowledgeable advice.
And you are part of that advice, Heather. We would not have this group without you, and Michelle as well. Michelle is a mom of 4 with a combination of biological and stepchildren in a blended family. She lives in Illinois, and I'm happy to have Michelle here. So welcome, Michelle.
Thank you, Jade. Like Jade said, I'm Michelle. I've been a part of Mommy Rules the World for about 5 years now. I've been a moderator for about 3. I do have 4 kids. I've got 3 boys that are 11, 14, and 16, and my girl who is 17 months. We've got 2 dogs, Joker and Clyde. They're both about 3 years old. They're like 4 months apart. I've been married for 2 years. We've been together for 9 years. Mommy Rules the World is my safe space where I can go in and vent and not feel judged at all. I love being a part of the team. I have people that I can talk to every single day if I need to. We've made our own little family here, and I absolutely love it.
Well, I'm happy to hear you say that, because it would not be a family without you. I know you've been part of the team for years, but you joined the team earlier than that, and then you had to come back. So I'm glad that you did come back and that you've been with us ever since. So thank you for being part of Mommy Rules the World and the team. Like Michelle and Heather was saying, Mommy Rules the World is a supportive, non-judgmental, inclusive community. We've really tried to work hard to keep our community in that way. And we're just really happy to have everybody here with us that, contributes, gives advice and support. And it's not something that one person or even a small group of people could do. It really does take everyone to make Mommy Rules the World what it is. And we do have moms from around the world that do that every day. And speaking of days, this is my very favorite day. It's Halloween. And Halloween is the best holiday. And I don't want to hear anything about that C word until we have Halloween. what is the C word? It's not that C word. It's not that one that you're thinking of. So years ago, we would have Halloween, and everybody would post, and they would talk about Christmas, and they would post their Christmas trees. And I'm like, hello, it's September. What are you doing? So I made this really funny post once about do not let me hear you say the C word. And it was funny because everybody's like, oh my God, I thought this Facebook group was becoming really regulated, and they're gonna censor me, and I'm not allowed to say this bad word. And really, I don't care if you say that bad word. I just don't want you talking about Christmas before Halloween, because Halloween is awesome. It's always been awesome. I mean, ever since I was little, my mom would take me, we would go visit relatives and friends, and we would not only trick or treat in my neighborhood, but in their neighborhoods. And she would drive me to other cities, and I would visit family. And it was just, this big overdone thing. I don't think it's quite like that anymore. I think there's a lot of, what do they call those? Like trunk or treats, or is that what they call them?
Yeah, trunk or treats are very popular.
Yeah, I've seen them where I think I was about maybe 12 or 13, and they started doing the trick or treating in the mall, and they would, you'd go around. That's probably the worst holiday Halloween that I've ever had, because you go around the mall and they would give you like, you'd go to one store and they'd give you like a Tootsie Roll, and then you'd walk to like the CD music store and they'd give you another Tootsie Roll, and you'd walk through to all these stores and you'd have like this little bag of like Tootsie Rolls by the end of the night. And I was like such a brat. I was like, where are my Snickers and my Reese's and all of my good candy? I don't know if you guys ever did that, but I was such a brat. It was not good, not a good Halloween experience. So don't take your kids here I am. I'm like, don't take your kids to the mall. And I'm like, nobody even goes to the mall. We have Amazon, and we order everything online.
I don't know if they still do that though.
I don't know. I honestly don't know, because I'm not lame. I go in my neighborhood and I celebrate Halloween the right way. I sit outside and I pass out candy, and I pass out candy to anybody that comes. I don't care if you're 2 years old and adorable, or if you're 25 years old, or you're 40 years old with your kids. I'm going to give you candy because that is what you do. You don't be lame. And you don't, I mean, okay, you're laughing, but this is where this comes from. So in my house, we've been having this discussion. How old is too old to trick or treat? As you know, I have teenagers, so the topic is coming up. My husband and I were discussing like, how old is too old? My daughter turned 17, and it's like, does she still go out and trick or treat? Yes, because she's a child, and I've raised her that way, and she's going to go out and she's going to trick or treat until she's 45, and that's great. That's what you do. But I don't know the right answer. I don't know when I actually stopped trick-or-treating. I don't know what is socially accepted these days. I'm just a weirdo, so maybe I think trick-or-treats, forever, but apparently that's what we've been arguing about. So my husband says like 16 is the cutoff. Like if you're over 16, you don't go out and trick-or-treat anymore.
He would absolutely crush my daughter if he made that rule, because she loves trick-or-treating. She's dressing up as Michelangelo at the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle with her other friends, and they're going around trick-or-treating. So I have to say that your husband's wrong.
Yes.
I don't think that there really should be a cutoff, especially now. If kids are going to be out trick-or-treating, they could be doing so many other things, and they're choosing to do something that's wholesome. I don't think we should penalize them for that. That's that's how I look at it.
Yes, yes. I love your daughter. Ninja Turtles are awesome. And I think we can start a whole campaign. If they're trick-or-treating, it's candy. They're not out doing crack. I mean, we could do a whole campaign, candy, not crack. I think my husband's on crack, because who doesn't want to go out and get candy? I mean, what is this magical thing? Like, you turn 16 and you're not allowed to go. You were last year, but now this year you can't. I mean, why? Okay, so his logic.
Sorry, you were still talking. Go ahead.
No, you got to just jump in, Michelle. Otherwise, I'm never going to let you talk.
I was going to say, I'm 31. Last year I was 30. I had a baby. She was like, what, 6, 7, 8 months old, whatever. And I'm literally going around to the trunk or treats and the trick or treat with her. And I got my own basket. She's got her basket. And I'm saying trick or treat. Like, I had people judging me, but I didn't even care. all right, like you don't want to give me candy, you don't have to give me candy. But there is plenty of other people that gave me candy at 30 years old, and I'm doing that again this year.
Like you come to my house, you ring my
Yes.
doorbell, I'm giving you candy. I'm probably giving you more candy than the baby because the baby can't eat the candy and the baby shouldn't eat the candy, but you can. I'm going to give you more candy than the baby.
Well, you know, something that they do here in my neighborhood that I have never seen before, and I absolutely love it, is some of the trick-or-treaters that come here will
Mhm.
either bring their own wagon or the people that hand out the candy will do it, but the parents will make like a margarita stand or they'll make jello shots and they pass those out to the parents that are bringing their kids around because let's face it, it's taxing sometimes taking your kids trick-or-treating. So they pass that stuff around. And I'm like, that is so smart. That's brilliant.
And
That's
you
just
to your
brilliant.
neighbor.
They do that in my neighborhood, and my mom thought it was like the best thing in the world because she came trick-or-treating with us one year. She was here visiting and they were giving her beer, and she was like, "Oh my God, best trick-or-treat ever." But that's what I'm saying. Like, why can't everybody have fun? I don't personally, I don't drink alcohol, but I don't have a problem with other people. I think it's awesome. Like, if you're out having a good time, like you said, like the parents are out taking their kids for candy, but I'm starting that campaign. Candy, not crack. I mean, I would rather see teenagers knocking on my door asking for some good, delicious candy than out doing crack. And I don't know. I'm making a joke out of it, but I mean, really, they're kids. And whether you're 16, 17, 18, 20, I mean, I don't know if different grow up, so why can't they go trick or treat?
But what is the superior Halloween candy?
Snickers.
Ah,
See, I'm with you on that.
I think it's ranked like I think there's categories. So I think that the chocolates are probably ranked higher than the other stuff, you know? And then, so I think when you get your chocolates, you probably look whether you have Snickers or you have Reese's or I have one weird kid that likes Milky Way. Like, who likes Milky Way? But she
My
does.
daughter.
That's her. Yeah, no, my daughter's favorite. Kyla loves Milky Way. That's her favorite. So I think the chocolate's probably like its own category. And then I think that all the other stuff, like your Sour Patch Kids, your Sweetest Fish, I don't know what else off the top of my head, but I think that falls into probably just ranked by what you like better. I know there are some weirdos out there that don't like chocolate, but why? I'm allergic to it and I eat it by the pound. Why do you not like chocolate? It's like the best thing ever.
That's like one of my friends. He is allergic to chocolate. So he always has like a glass of milk with him and he eats
Mhm.
a little bit of chocolate and then drinks the milk and I don't know, I guess it cancels it out or something.
Okay, that's gross. I don't drink milk. I'm not drinking milk. If I'm gonna eat the chocolate, I'm just gonna get sick from the chocolate. I'm not gonna overdo it with the dairy. But I guess if it works, it works. But I mean, those are the lengths people go to eat chocolate. So who just wakes up one day and says, "Nope, magic number in the sky says I'm 16. I can't go trick or treat." Like, no, Halloween is for everyone, and everyone should be celebrating Halloween. Um, I don't even know what I'm so like out of touch with what the popular costumes are. I feel like ever since like post COVID, we haven't really had normal things. Like I don't really know what my kids don't even care about anything for costumes this year. They're just like, oh, I'll be whatever. They're like, my youngest daughter wanted to get a scream mask, and I'm like, that was cool when I was your age, but I don't really know like what is the most popular. What
I
are, what are
think
your
that
kids dressing up as?
I think Scream is still like a solid, Scream and Jason, like they're still solid costumes. My daughter, obviously, Ninja Turtles. My son hasn't decided. He could not understand why we were not going to allow our 14-year-old son to go trick-or-treating around as a bum. Now, he wanted his costume to be specific to the point that it would have the brown paper bag
and a bottle, but it would be a Pepsi bottle, but it would still be a bottle. And he could not grasp the concept of how that may reflect bad on his parents. And while I appreciated his innovation for the idea, we had to turn that one down.
I don't know, Heather. I'm kind of with him. I think that would be fun.
That would be pretty.
So if you said no to the bomb, what did you approve?
I think he finally settled on being a broke college student this year. My daughter did it one year and he's going to do it this year. And essentially he just gets to wear his regular clothes. So I think he's okay with that. I don't know. When he said that to me, I laughed because I thought he was kidding. And then when he was actually serious, I didn't know what to do.
I mean, I'm sure it's definitely not politically correct, and I'm sure it might offend some people, but I feel like probably the best costumes do, I remember some really, really tasteless costumes from the 90s. My parents would have like these big Halloween parties, and I remember like terrible costumes that are super, super politically incorrect. Like people would cancel the costume if it were a thing in this generation, and probably for good reason. But I think those are like the hilarious ones that we remember. Maybe you should let him do it.
Maybe I'll consider it. I don't know. That one's
we are not even halfway into our first episode, and I'm already going to get in trouble. You're going to be like, no, Jade, do not undermine. Do not. I saw the thing that I think Michelle shared it about not to undermine her parenting, and here I am. I am episode 1, and I'm like, yeah, I think you should just let him do it. This is going well.
So my kids for Halloween, Cullen has the like alien pantsuit thing, and I'm telling you, pray for him because Neil has fart spray, and he has every intention on blowing it in that little vent thing.
That's great.
Is that the inflatable?
Yes. So, and then Jaden, he's gonna be a ninja, and Emily is going to be a monster.
Like a cute little monster, or like a baby monster?
Like one of those cute little baby monsters. It's pink, and it's got like, I don't know what looks like little buttons.
Okay, so baby monsters, like cute little baby, that's cute and that's adorable. But when I hear baby monster, I think of like those blowout diarrhea diapers in the back of the car on the hot summer day, because that's a baby monster. That is that's scary. That is real scary. Like, I know Halloween, see, to me, Halloween is fun. It's not scary. But what is scary is when you are running late for an appointment and you pull your baby out of the car seat and it's got poop all the way up its back to the back of its head. That's scary, and that's a baby monster. I am so glad it's you and not me, because somebody's always having a baby on our team, and I'm glad you took that torch.
Yes, thank you, Michelle. Very appreciated.
I'm so curious who's going to be it this time.
What'd you say? You wanted another turn?
No, I said I'm curious who it's going to be.
So I think that's Michelle volunteering again.
I've heard twins now.
Okay, so for everybody listening that has no idea what we're talking about, we've made some jokes about it, but since the beginning of time, since the inception of Mommy Rules the World, since I put the first team together, somebody has always gotten pregnant. And we have never gone very long without somebody becoming pregnant. And even the moms on the team that say like, nope, not it, not going to be me, it's always one of them. And it's hilarious because it happens all the time. And the joke is always, we joke with each other who it's going to be. But I definitely have the people that I think it's going to be. I think we did a poll about this. It was funny. and then people started nominating themselves and whatever. But yes, I think as we go through these episodes and we share some of these inside jokes, you might, the people that are listening, that are part of the group, that read I think you'll start to understand some of the jokes more, because we give each other a hard time all day running this group. So we have, let me just back up a minute. So we have the closed Facebook group that's a community group. And then we also have the Mommy Rules the World, the public Facebook page. The page is just like any other business page. But what we do is we post our content and our anonymous post on the public page. And then we also have the same post in the closed group. The difference is that the group is private, so it's only open to members that meet certain criteria, being that you are a mom, and we're open to whether you have biological children, stepchildren, adopted children, even if you're a grandparent, or even if you are just someone that is in the pregnant or in the process of having a baby, IVF, whatever it is. We're inclusive, but you have to fit that criteria. So not everybody can be in the closed private group, but everybody can follow the public page. And both of those are on our website, and I've had people a little bit confused about that. So the public page, that's where you'll see all of those anonymous posts, and some of them get very wild, but they get even more wild. The comments in the group where they know it's more of like a safe space and no one can kind of see their responses. So, I just wanted to explain that there's a closed group, and then there's a public page. And think of the public page like any other business page or like an Instagram page. Everybody can see the content, everybody can comment on it. But the group is just for moms. So we have some, lots of like mom topics and discussions and things of that nature. And we moderate that group. So our team members, we're constantly seeing all of these pending posts and the posts for approval. And it's, when I tell you it's a full-time job, I mean, like, there's a whole team of us, and it is a full-time job for it takes each and every one of us, and we're there, we're at it all day. So we see as many posts as you see, we see easily 10 times more. I haven't done the actual math, but there's a lot more that you will never see, and that's for good reason. Some of them, they violate our basic rules, and our whole goal is to protect our members. And we get a lot of spam, we get a lot of scams, we get a lot of posts that are like love spell posts, and they try to sell you these love spells, and all these, we get crazy things submitted that we don't approve. And then, sometimes we have posts that it's not that we don't like you, or, that we don't want to approve your post, but there's something in there that, maybe you were emotional when you were writing it, and we didn't approve it just to protect you. And in doing that, we started anonymous posts before the anonymous post feature was a thing. So it was something that I knew people needed. And back in the day, way years ago, people used to just send me their posts directly, and I would copy them, paste them, and post them, for them, and just put, that this was submitted anonymously by a member. And I would do it that way. And after months of doing that, I got a phone call from my mom one day, and she was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm great. What do you mean? Like, I know I've never been better." And she's like, "Well, I've gotten a lot of weird phone calls." Like, "What do you mean?" "Well, people are, telling me all these things that you're going through, and it's like, sounds like you're having a really rough time." And what I didn't realize is that people that knew my mom were telling her that I was posting everything that everybody was sending to me to post anonymously, and they thought that they were my experiences. So we've had a lot of crazy things over the years. If you've been, if you've been following us for a while, the name crab cakes. And you've seen a lot of crazy posts, some very wild posts, some very, I mean, posts that people just shake their heads and they're like, "This is not real life" kind of posts. So the fact that I was posting them for people and people thought that was all my life is really hilarious to me. It doesn't bother me at all. I don't care, but I think it's really funny that they thought I was functioning with all of these things going on. Because remember, people, they're submitting like hundreds of anonymous posts from all around the world, and somebody actually thought this was all my life. So that's really hilarious. But yeah, we get tons of posts. I mean, oh, I think the big ones that stand out to everybody, whenever I mention anonymous posts, everybody brings up crab cakes and they just want more and more and more and more. If you don't know what crab cakes is, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, you can go on our page and just search for the word crab cakes and you will find all of the posts. You will even find the map. I had to draw a map to explain that story. That is another topic in and of itself. And I will get into it on another episode. However, just to let you know, there's a lot of anonymous posts that get really wild. We've had some recently that you just, some of the things you just, a lot of them, I feel for the people. They're going through difficult times and they need some advice, or, they just don't want family or friends to know who they are. And then some of them, I read them and I'm like, WTF? I don't know what to say. And I somehow come up with something to say. And then we also have this other issue where people will submit anonymously and we go through the trouble of posting and getting it out there. And then they comment on the post and say, yeah, this was me. And then they argue with everybody in the comments and then they kind of out themselves. And those are always hilarious. We put in all this work and this effort and then there they are, telling us how we did it all wrong. Those are fun. I think those are my favorite. I don't know about you guys, but there's been a lot.
Yeah, I've noticed that those have been recently too.
Oh, yes. It's pretty funny that they just keep commenting on their posts that are anonymous.
I believe it or not, I don't know. Someday I'm gonna just sit down and do the math. I don't know the exact percentage, but this isn't like a once in a while thing. This, I've noticed a lot of people will submit anonymous posts. Now, I have never, ever revealed a source. I've never, ever told anybody who anybody is. I keep that 100% confidential. Whether I agree with them or not is irrelevant. I am just essentially providing a service and it comes with, complete anonymity. I do not tell anybody anything. It's 100% confidential. And I'm happy that I do that. I'm proud of it. And I want people to have that trust so they can have a place that they can come for advice and they know, I'm never going to reveal them. And then they turn around and reveal themselves. And I'm like, oh my God, like, I don't want you to do that, And I don't know. I don't know. That's probably one of the things that baffle me the most. Why would you do that?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's also nice that we have the anonymous post feature too. Even though one of our rules is whatever is said in the group is supposed to stay in the group, it still just gives our members an extra sense of security to know that if their sister or their mom or whomever is in the group, that they can still post and it not reflect on them directly as long as they don't comment. I mean, I know even as a moderator, I used the anonymous post feature one time with you, Jade, so it's even a feature that's available to us, even as moderators, because sometimes we need advice and we're not ready to, acknowledge or discuss it more publicly. So it's definitely a nice feature that we have that.
Yeah, I've had people, friends of mine reach out to me, and somebody actually made a great point. They were like, I want to post this, and they were like, I would post it myself in your group. I'm comfortable in your group. However, they were like, if you post it anonymously for me, it's going to go on the public page because I post those on the public page, and they were interested in having the male perspective give them advice as well. And I thought about it and I'm like, you know what, that's a great point because we only are a group of moms. So without even thinking about it, we're probably biased because we're all from the perspective of the mom, and she wanted some male opinions. And because because we post them anonymously on the page, she was able to actually have some men comment. And that's why I wanted to explain that we have the closed group and we have the public page, and we don't moderate the public page like we do the community group. So there's more people can comment, and anybody can follow it. So a lot of people are following, and then you have men that will comment, and some of my guy friends are following the page. They've been following for years, and they jump in and they comment. So it gives you more perspectives, especially when you're looking for advice on certain topics. It's nice to have, you can, I think the topic was something, it was a dispute between her and her husband. And, of course we're moms, so we're going to see it from the mom side. And we're going to be like, oh my God, you're an exhausted mom. Your husband should have done more to help. But then, a guy was able to come in and be like, hey, maybe he was tired too. And, it's just nice. I'm definitely not going to let any dads come into the mom group, but, it's nice to have that other feature there.
Although they have tried. Sometimes they think that we're some sort of dating site, but we're not.
Yes, we have. We have those quite often. And we had one very recently that he posted that he was looking for some moms. And I'm like, you are lost. Little boy, you are lost. Go somewhere else, please. We are not talking about that type of advice and support. You need to take yourself somewhere else.
We are not that group.
Oh, you're talking about the I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the one that had a whole different lifestyle fetish and was looking for a mommy. Okay, so let me back this up for everyone that has no idea what we're talking about. So this just shows you we get tons of requests to join our closed group, and we're very careful who we let in. We only let in moms, of course. We screen them, but we always get men that try to join just because they want to talk to women, and that's whatever. But recently we had this person try to join the group, and he was just wearing a diaper, an actual baby diaper, and a pacifier in his mouth. And that there was a picture of his full body, his full face. And he was very clear that he had the intention to join because he needed a mommy. He was looking for a mommy. I don't care. I promise you, I do not even think about it. I don't care what anybody does in their private life. I don't even think of or care about them at all. I do not know what they do, and I don't care. However, that is not something I would ever allow in our group, because people are in there, they're talking about their private lives, they're talking about their kids, they're talking about their families. They are not there to be your mommy. And I am not going to let you come in and, learn things about their families, their kids, or see pictures of their kids, because whatever you got going on, I'm not going to kink shame you or whatever. I don't care what you do, but that doesn't need to be around people's children. That's not what they're here for. So yes, he was declined and blocked very quickly. So he's going to have to find a mommy somewhere else. If you're listening to this, please don't contact me. I don't want to be involved. I'm not here to be a mommy service. But yes, he had to go somewhere else. So that guy, yes. Now I know what you were talking about. I was thinking about the other one that was just a random guy looking to join. He was like, yeah, I have kids. And I'm thinking okay, yeah, I get where this is going. But no, you were talking about and I'm thinking okay, it's a huge red flag to me when, again, I don't care what people do to turn themselves on, but it's a huge red flag when you're putting your full face on the internet in a baby diaper. I mean, the first thing anybody does this day and age, and if you don't know this, you should know this, but the first thing anybody does when you apply for a job or anything is they look you up. So if you've got your face on the internet in your whole body and you're just in a baby diaper in a crib and you're 40 something years old, I mean, how do you keep a job? How do you get a job? How do you keep a job? Because even if it's not, you might say, okay, Jade, but he probably doesn't put his real name on. I mean, he had a full real name on there, but even if he didn't, I mean, with technology, it's his face. I mean, that's even easier than a name because you just take that picture, you pop it in the search engine, and you find his whole, you know, I don't even know what to call it, but his baby something looking for a mommy, and you're gonna find that. So I mean, is this a person that like lives in a basement somewhere and they're just like, what are they doing? You know, what are they doing with their lives where they have all this time? That's the other thing. I started looking through the profile and it was there was a lot of content. There was a lot of content. There were a lot of pictures. I mean, whatever. If he's into this lifestyle, that's, that's fine. But I just don't understand, how are you putting yourself out there like this and then functioning in the world? I mean, that was my red flag. So I don't know if that was the right call to people. I don't know what they think about that, but for me, that was the decision I made very quickly. Very, very, very quickly.
I think, it is the right call that you made because, like you said, we have to be very careful as to who we let into our community because we are dealing with minor children and not even just our minor children, but other people's children. So I think we have to even have that extra layer of security so that people can feel safe and secure posting about their lives. They know that they have to be vetted to get into our group, and we have everybody, go through the exact same process. So I think not allowing somebody that may have more of a questionable intention for joining, I think that's okay to decline.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's somebody out there that I feel like people, they constantly criticize what you do no matter what you do. But when it comes
Always.
to the, yeah, especially even in our community, even just in my personal life, in my daily life, I constantly have people, critique and criticize, but I feel like you're never going to make everybody happy. So I don't know if I ever even tried. I think my whole life, I've just always kind of lived where, if I feel something's right, I'm going to do what I feel is right and I'll stand by it. People might be upset about it, but I'll explain it. And, if you don't agree, you don't agree, but, it's okay. We're not going to argue about it. And I think that's kind of the mentality that I've tried to bring to Mommy Rules the World. We were talking about this. So Britney Spears released a book and she opened up very candidly about her life for the first time in her own words. And she, finally had an opportunity to say everything she's ever wanted to say and put it in her own book and released her own story. And we were talking about it. And I think my perspective is that, maybe we can't relate to being a mega, pop star in the 90s, but a lot of her story of, trauma and abuse and things of that nature are very relatable. And, the internet was kind of on fire when this book came out and everybody was talking about it, of course. And they're talking about, she shouldn't have brought up all this stuff from the past and she should have just let it go. And, that's not right of her. And, people have their feelings one way or the other. But, what I'm thinking is, first of all, if she were a member in our community, we would stand by her, we would support her. So just because she's a celebrity, why are we not showing that same grace and kindness and support to another mom? Because she's famous. I mean, we would do that for anybody else in the community. So why are we so hostile to her? Just because she has a career as a musician? I mean, what is wrong with people? First of all, and then we were discussing, a lot of people can relate to this trauma and this abuse. And, again, they're not big Britney Spears pop star from the 90s, but they have been through trauma. They have been in situations where maybe they felt like there was no way out, or they were, in abusive situations or being controlled or manipulated, or, whatever the case may be. That there's a lot of her story is relatable on different levels. And, people will never hear, eh, you know, not people. So Britney Spears will never hear the things that you're saying about her. She'll never read your, your posts or your rants or your comments. But your friends and your family that have been through those things, they're going to hear them. They're going to see them. And they're going to feel like absolute crap when when they do. And, I don't think people even think about that. It's just terrible. I mean, I think about it because we work so hard to create this community that's supportive and uh, the opposite of all that. And it's very disheartening to see the things that people just say, they're very, very malicious. And I think about all the people in our group, in our community and in our family, and, our family and friends that may relate to her story. And, maybe they went through some similar things, or I know for myself, you know, part of healing is you have to be able to talk about things. You have to kind of, make peace with them to move on. And the things people are saying about her, other people are going to read them. People, maybe she will never see them, but people you care about will see them and it will hurt them. And I don't think people even stop and think about that. And we were discussing that, and it was really interesting to see a lot of the perspectives. Everybody has very strong opinions. I love that in our community everybody's allowed to have their own opinion. They have their own mind, they speak their own minds. We don't censor them, we don't tell them how to think. There's a lot of places out there that do that. So we had some really interesting discussions, and I know, Heather, you made a great point about some of the things in her book. Did you read the book?
I have not yet, but I do want to read it. I liked her growing up, and I felt so horrible for her, when she had that obvious psychotic break, when she shaved her head and she was busting windows, and she, not not that anybody should ever have to go through something like that, and then to have to go through it and it be publicized, that's horrible. And I'm interested to see her take on it. Um, I just, yeah, I want to read it so that I can see, and, not that, kind of to form my own opinion, because I have seen things both sides, about how she's brought up things from the past. But like you said, the best way to work through a lot of things is to speak it and to get it out. And I don't think she's ever really been allowed, because she's been under that conservatorship. So she's been very censored. So maybe this is her way of dealing with it. And the people that are in the book that she's mentioning, they have the choice to read it or not, or to listen to what's being said or not. They've moved on with their life. They need and processed whatever happened. I think they need to allow her this time now that she's actually been given the time. I don't think she was ever allowed before.
Yeah, I know, from my own experience, when I would finally talk about things, because I kept a lot of things to myself for many years. I think it's just, natural. I never had a legal gag order, so to speak, but, I just didn't talk about a lot of things. And when I finally did open up about them, that I got a lot of the same backlash. It was, why are you bringing this up? Why are you telling people these things? Don't hurt my image, sort of thing. And I really feel for her. I haven't read her book yet either. I've read parts of her book that have been, shared pretty much everywhere. I think that we're all in that same situation. We've probably read good chunks of the book here and there. Um, but I'm happy that she's finally getting her story out there in the way that she wants it told, because I think that's important. It's easy for people to tell a story and shape it in the way they want people to hear it. But when you finally tell your own story, I feel like it puts a lot of things in perspective for people. They finally have that piece that just never felt right, or always felt, because when you listen to things, that you always feel like there's a piece missing, like you're not getting the whole story. And I feel like with her story, a lot of things are falling into place. And I've seen a lot of different articles and people talking about Oh, that's why she acted crazy. Because I mean, they're quick to put the reactions on, the paparazzi lives for that. They're quick to show you the reactions, and it's always fun to talk about the person that went crazy, but no one ever talks about why they reacted that way. I think just as a society, we look at and, we point the fingers like, oh, yeah, she shaved her head. Oh, yeah, she smashed her window. Why'd she do that? And they're starting to kind of dive into that. So I'm happy that she's able to get that out there. And I just hope that people, whether they're people listening or people that we talk to in our community group, I'm just hopeful that people stop and think about it for a moment before they say some really hateful things, because there's a lot of other people that are going to see them. And I think we don't actually stop, social media just kind of runs wild, and we don't really stop and think, who's going to read this? How are they going to feel? Whether it's, Britney Spears, or, maybe your cousin that's in a terrible marriage or, situation, and feels trapped, you're probably going to hurt the people you care about more than you're ever going to hurt the celebrity that's never going to read your post or your comment. So I guess that's my takeaway, and I've enjoyed talking about it. I don't really follow celebrities. I'm terrible. I mean, you could rattle off a list of celebrities, and I'll just be like, "Who's that?" And if you don't believe me, ask my husband, because he tries to tell me about all these movies and things, and I'm just like, "Yeah, whatever, buddy. I have no idea what you're talking about, and I don't care." Um, it was funny. It was funny for me to see a lot of my friends kind of comment that way, and they're like, "Yeah, I don't have any idea what you're talking about." Because I'm like, okay, there's a reason why you're the people that I talk to every day, because we don't pay attention to those other things that distract everybody. I never followed the Kardashians, and I have no idea who is even popular right now. I don't know who Taylor Swift is dating, and I don't really give a crap.
Oh, well, that I do know, but that's because I love football. But I knew him before Taylor, so I get points for that.
See, this is why I have a team of people that can fill me in. And so they're like, hey, Jayde, it's football. Because I would have never known. I'd be like, what does he play? Baseball or something? Who knows? So I am just very excited to be able to put this podcast together. I love the idea of connecting with our community directly. And, we talk to each other as a team every day, but I really want to bring more of that to all of the members in our community. And I like that we're able to tell them about the things behind the scenes, the jokes, where the jokes came from, and just kind of hear the stories, because I know I've put so much into this community, and I love to see the growth, and I love to see, we had recently a post where everyone shared what they love about Mommy Rules the World, and I you know made a little video out of it, and it was really nice to see how long people have been part of this community, and just to see the different things they love about it. They're things that originally I wanted, but they're not the things I think about every day, because I'm so busy, making sure that 40-year-old baby men don't come in, and anonymous posts are kept confidential. And I guess I really get into the day-to-day management of things that I don't really sit there and think and look at, oh, look how nice this is, and I think we are all probably guilty of that. We put a lot of time and effort in, and it's nice to be able to connect with our members, because they don't really get to talk to us. I wish there were features where we could just, send them like voice clips or something, but I really think the podcast is going to be the way to connect with them. So as we go forward, I'm going to bring on more co-hosts. I'm going to bring on members as co-hosts, people that have never been part of the team. So, they're not going to know kind of the behind the scenes things that we know, and we can have a chance to talk to them about it, and probably answer a lot of questions that other people have that we wouldn't even know that other people have. So I think it's going to have a good dynamic. And then also, we're going to have a lot of contests, prizes, things like that, and just a lot of life topics, parenting topics. We'll have we'll talk about a lot of things that are going on in the community, as well as current events and things of that nature. So I just wanted to thank Heather and Michelle for joining us, and I thank everybody that's tuning in and listening, and hope that you will continue to follow along as we grow this podcast like we did our community. And you can find us on our website, mommyrulestheworld.com, or you can find us on social media. All of our pages are at Mommy Rules the World. Both are Facebook, Instagram, just about everything. It's all the same. Mommy Rules the World. We even have a Reddit as well. So thank you, and I look forward to doing our next one.
Thank you. Me too.
Yes, very excited.